How do we know the authors of the four Gospels in the Bible's New Testament did not exaggerate or embellish what they say they saw? There are at least 10 reasons we can be confident that the New Testament writers did not play fast and loose with the facts, according to Turek and Geisler in their book, I Don't Have Enough Faith to Be an Atheist. Reason 1. The New Testament writers included embarrassing details about themselves. Reason 2. They included embarrassing details and difficult sayings of Jesus. 3. They left in demanding sayings of Jesus. 4. They carefully distinguished Jesus' words from their own. 5. They include events related to the resurrection that they would not have invented. 6. They include more than 30 historically confirmed people in their writings. 7. They include divergent details. 8. The New Testament writers challenge their readers to check out verifiable facts, even facts about miracles. 9. They describe miracles like other historical events, with simple, unembellished accounts. And finally, 10. They abandon their long-held sacred beliefs and practices, adopted new ones, and did not deny their testimony under persecution or threat of death. Let's look at these in closer detail. We'll just do number 1 this time. First, the New Testament writers include embarrassing details about themselves. One of the ways historians can tell whether an author is telling the truth is to test what he says by the principle of embarrassment. This principle assumes that any details embarrassing to the author are probably true. The tendency of most authors is to leave out anything that makes them look bad. The people who wrote down much of the New Testament are characters or friends of characters in the story, and often they depict themselves as dim-witted, uncaring, rebuked, and doubting cowards. For example, they are dim-witted. Numerous times they fail to understand what Jesus is saying, such as in Mark 9:32 and in Luke 18:34 and other places. They are uncaring. That is, they fell asleep on Jesus twice when he asked them to pray in Mark 14. The New Testament writers later believe Jesus is the God-man, yet they admit they twice fell asleep on him in his hour of greatest need. Moreover, they make no effort to give their friend a proper burial, but record that Jesus was buried by Joseph of Arimathea, a member of the Jewish Sanhedrin, the very court that had sentenced Jesus to die. They are rebuked. That is, Peter is called Satan once by Jesus in Mark 8:33, and Paul rebukes Peter for being wrong about a theological issue. Paul wrote, "When Peter came to Antioch, I opposed him to his face because he was clearly in the wrong," as recorded in Galatians 2:11. Now, keep in mind that Peter is one of the pillars of the early church, and here's Paul including in Scripture that he was wrong. They are cowards. All the disciples but one hide when Jesus goes to the cross. Peter even denies him 3 times after explicitly promising, "I will never disown you," as recorded in Matthew 26:33. Meanwhile, as the men are hiding for fear of the Jews, the brave women stand by Jesus and are the first to discover the empty tomb. They are doubters, not the women, the disciples. Despite being taught several times that Jesus would rise from the dead, as in John 2 and 3 and Matthew 1 and other places, the disciples are doubtful when they hear of his resurrection. Some are even doubtful after they see him risen, as in Matthew 28:17. Now, if you were a New Testament writer, would you include these embarrassing details if you were making up a story? If the New Testament writers were making up this story, they would have left out their ineptness, their cowardice, the rebuke, the three denials, and their theological problems, and depicted themselves as bold believers who stood by Jesus through it all. In future segments, I will continue presenting more reasons why we can know the gospel writers told the truth. Thank you.